Hello and welcome to Sports Leadership Topic 3, Lecture 2, Part 7, where we continue talking about culture. Firstly, we're going to have a look at cultural strength. That's the amount of agreement we've got between employees about the specific values and ways of doing things. If you've got a lot of consensus, then the culture is really strong and cohesive, all the glue that holds us together. If you haven't got very much agreement, then the culture is weak. A strong culture is not a guarantee of success. A strong culture is not necessarily positive. So if you think about Enron, they had the wrong values, they caused harm, they were unethical, and those poor values that they had didn't fit the global culture. A strong, unhealthy culture can move an organisation in the wrong direction. Equally, values should be ethical and the culture needs to be adaptable to the external environment if the organisation is going to thrive well. So there's some problems with a strong culture then, as we've already illustrated with Enron. And those are that the culture can weaken the strategy because the culture can work against what the organisation wants to do. The culture can also provide challenges in a changing environment where you might have a very family-oriented organisation and you're making people redundant, and then the things that you're doing are actually against the culture of the organisation. The culture can also inhibit diversity, where you get a lot of mirror hiring, so you employ people who actually look and feel like you so that you've got that perceived cultural fit. Culture can be used for manipulation and domination and oppression, particularly if you think about organisations that are strongly masculine or strongly one ethnicity, or that use a lot of emotional labour, and that's definitely something that happens a lot in sport because you're doing it for a social good. People expect you to give your time for practically nothing, and because of that as well, culture can unbalance people in their pursuit of a balanced lifestyle. So again, think of that with sport, where people work through their lunch hour, where they work extra hours, or law, when you come out of law school, that you just go gangbusters until you've reached partner after 10 years, but you've probably burnt out. There are also 4 corporate cultures we're going to look briefly at. They're on 2 axes. First, from north to south, we've got how flexible the organisation is, all the way to how stable the organisation is. And if we go from west to east, we've got how internally focused the organisation is to how externally focused the organisation is. So if we think first about the bottom corner, where we've got an internal focus and it's very stable, that's where we get government style organisations. Not a lot of change, quite formal, very rational, not something you're going to get really engaged in when it comes to an organisation. You get a clan culture. We've got a lot of sports clubs, particularly social clubs in this space, where they're very focused internally, they don't care what's going on outside. They're quite flexible, very cooperative, it's all about fairness and social equality. Whereas you've got an adaptability culture, that's where you get your really good, innovative, creative kind of sports organisations, where you've got flexibility and an external focus, and they're prepared to take a few risks in order to get things done. And then you come to an achievement culture where it's quite stable, but quite externally focused still, a lot of competitiveness, perfectionism. So think probably rugby union in that space. Values are our corporate institutional standards of behaviour, what we should do, and they're beliefs within the organisation's culture that have got plenty of worth and merit, and they're very important for the organisation, so people usually hold true to those or they move on. Leaders look for the right kind of combination of values inside an organisation in order to achieve the organisation's goals. And this statement from Booz Allen Hamilton is basically saying that organisations have chosen to formalise their codes of conduct inside organisations lately, simply because people no longer believe all the same things. So you can't go back to, say, the Bible or the Quran and say this is how we expect you to behave. Lastly, a brief look at values-based leadership. So that's where leaders and followers have got strongly internalised values. So quite like sports organisations, authentic leadership, ethical leadership fits in here. And this is where the leader values, attitudes and behaviours impact on performance, effort and reward. Spiritual followers get a buzz out of their calling, out of their membership, and together they achieve organisations' outcomes.